Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon. It is Tuesday. Kind of cloudy Tuesday all day long. This is On the Record. I'm your host, Brian Summers, coming to you live here from our secret cam play spot here off Radio Road here in Statesville, North Carolina, the greatest big city in all of the world. I say that from my hometown in the greatest county, also Iredell County, my home county, in the greatest state, my home state, which is North Carolina. We say roll call to you all this morning, signing off to Love Valley. Hello, good afternoon, Love Valley. Troutman, Mooresville, Harmony, Cornelius, Davison, North Cabarrus, North Mecklenburg, South Wilkesboro, a little bit of Salisbury, Rowan over there, Taylorsville, to my Lackey family up there. Hello, folks. Good afternoon, folks. We're live here on Facebook Live. You can get us on Twitter, Facebook streaming live, Instagram, and LinkedIn, all those platforms. Also, I think if I'm understanding correctly from the office memo, you can now find us on Apple Podcasts. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I got to ask my daughter to teach me how to find it on Apple Podcast. So that'll be interesting if good old Brian Summers. I'm making it to Apple minus me and the Temptations or Motown. So it's kind of on my own. So that's pretty exciting. But anyway, folks, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. Evening. Be careful driving home. It looked a little cloudy outside. Forecast said there may be some rain further in the afternoon. So be very, very careful and cautious of that. But we're going to move right on to some things kind of happening here. I hope your day was good. Hope your Tuesday got into some good things and you still are festive high after your weekend. But I want to say right off the bat, folks, that, we had some tragedies in our country over the weekend, and one particularly kind of close to home here in North Carolina. First, I want to speak on the tragic shooting on the campus of UNC Chapel Hill yesterday. I have got family who are students there, and I've got classmates who have kids who are there as students. And so I immediately went to those thoughts and minds and reached out to see how the families and how the kids of my classmates were doing who are there at UNC Chapel Hill when I heard about the on-campus shooting that took place yesterday. So I want to be mindful and just most certainly lift up thoughts and prayers to the family, but also figure out what we can do. There's got to be some solutions in this country about guns. Guns are especially guns that end up illegally in the hands of people. So I am supportive of the Second Amendment. I am for the Second Amendment, but reckless gun behavior I do not like. Reckless gun behavior I do not understand. Reckless gun behavior shall not be tolerated, and that's people getting guns illegally. And if you're getting them legally, you still should have to have a little more deep dive into make sure you've not had any domestic issues, you've not had any mental issues, but you most certainly have a right. The freedom of this country is the right to bear arms. And so just get that straight off the bat. And then there were 3 African Americans who were murdered in the Dollar General down in Jacksonville, Florida, Sunday. And so just again, hate never has a place. Hate has no place in our society. No forms of hate has that. And so for whatever reason, what was going on mentally with the shooter over at UNC, also the shooter down in Florida. But we just have to make our world a better place, make our country a better place, and make where we are better for those that cross our path and for those who don't cross our path, folks. It is up to us to decide what kind of country we want to have. So keep that in mind. Life is precious. Life is precious, and that's why on these airways every day I talk against child abuse, neglect, and child abuse. So I am very firm against that in every form, way, shape, domestic violence in every way. And so I just don't believe that you have to lay your physical hands on anybody for any reason as in a form of discipline or taking out your anger, especially little children or kids. Kids are the most innocent victims of our society, and they deserve the right to be children, to grow up, to be happy, to live in a normal, healthy society, and children as kids, and not without all the pressures on them. So you've heard me start off like that on my little box, so we'll just we'll get right into it. I mentioned today, if you caught our Facebook flash off. Sorry, my throat's a little dry there. We talked about what's going on in the news. Some news for you I'd like to share with you. So it looks as if the Republican Party has selected that they're going to move their convention next year to Minneapolis, to Wisconsin. So it looks like, if I got that, reading that right, that maybe I didn't get that correctly right. It says the Republicans, GOP picks Houston. Sorry, they picked Houston as a national convention for 2028. So I know they will be back in Wisconsin in 24, but in 2028, boy, that's some long-term forecasting already. 2028 looks like it'll be the site of the Republican National Convention for 2028. So that's some news there to share. That's not negative news and good to share, going right on with things. We also wanted to find out, too, I reached out and sent a note to Representative McNeely. I wanted to find out about his updates from Raleigh. You know, every week pretty much when they're in session, he always kind of publishes out the updates from Raleigh of what's going on. So we're going to talk news, but we can talk a little bit national news. We're going to keep it local as well, too. And really, any topic you'd like to discuss, folks, this is open lines. This is open lines. You can call in and give a call, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. You can reach us, WSIC 1400 AM, 100.7 Statesville FM, 100.59 FM. And so you can get us there and go tune in, WSICnews.com, and we love to hear from you. So I've got a break coming up in about 2 minutes, but I'll tell you what's happening and what's going on. All the buzz in town is about the fair. The fair opens up this coming Friday at 5 o'clock. They'll have a ribbon cutting. It is hosted by the Kiwanis Club and the Iredell County Agriculture Extension jointly together, and it is the 87th Iredell County Fair, 87 years, folks. So be prepared. If we can hold the clouds back and they can keep the weather back, be able to take your family down there. We've got some tickets to give away. So we're going to need you to tune in and be a faithful listener to this show for the remainder of the week. We're going to give you free tickets to the fair, which are good. Go down there and their season passes for the fair itself. And so we got to create some trivia. I'm reaching out and hoping that my good friend on our channel here, Pat Shannon, Dr. Pat Shannon, will maybe help me out with some trivia. Steve Hill or David Pope or Dr. Curtis Abel, any one of those guys who I know a whole lot more than I do, and we'll have some fun with it. But yesterday we had a good show. We had Jim Head and Joe Stevens from the Kiwanis, my Kiwani brothers. I am in the Kiwanis, just for a disclaimer. They stopped by, and so we also have a donation from them to WSIC for that as well. So that was very happy, and I got to make sure I let the powers that be here know that they want to contribute something to WSIC. So anyway, but the fair, folks, the fair happens this Friday. 5 o'clock, there's ribbon cutting. 6, 7 o'clock, come on down, have a good time. The Iredell County Fair, it will be great. I'll be there. You can look for me. I'll be up on one of the main gates, either doing the tickets as you come in or helping with the parking. But I'll be around there somewhere. You'll find me with my Kiwanis vest on or dressing my best, looking my best as we do it. And then I'll be there Saturday as well. And then I'll return back a couple days. But anyway, the fair is going on from this coming Friday all the way to next Saturday. So it's the 1st through the 9th, the Iredell County Fair, 87 on Thursday. On Thursday of next week, folks, the fair is going to be, if you're a veteran, you can get into the fair for free, no charge. If you are a student in K through 12, you can get into the fair, no charge. If you are a first responder, you can get into the senior. If you're a senior, seniors can get into the fair, no charge. So anyway, check it out. We're going off this break right now. On the record with Brian Summers. We'll come back with some good topics to talk about. Give me a call, 704-873-1400.
There's more On the Record with Brian Summers on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Looking for a night of laughs? Mike Goodwin, who's been on America's Got Talent, is coming to Kane Center for the Arts here in Cornelius. Saturday, September 9th. Kane Center for the Arts' 2024 fall season. Comedian Mike Goodwin, Saturday, September 9th. For more info, visit kanearts.org. Apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is almost here. The apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is a very short window. September 5th through the 30th, apple picking at Kerrigan Farms. Only in September. Book your experience now at kerriganfarms.com. Lynyrd Skynyrd and ZZ Top, the Sharp Dressed Simple Man Tour. this Friday at PNC Music Pavilion. Watch two iconic bands at a great venue, Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top, this Friday at PNC Pavilion. Have you ever been to Davidson's Concerts at the Circles? This weekend you can go! Davidson's Concert at the Circles will feature 80s Nation, an 80s tribute band. Concerts at the Circles, Jeton Street by Clean Juice and Davidson. NASCAR is back at Darlington this weekend. Xfinity race starts at 3:30 on Saturday and Cup Series at 6 p.m. on Sunday. Thanks again to Drum Landscape Supply in Statesville for the Days of Darlington ticket giveaway contest at WSIC. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm meteorologist Jim Benally with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, it's going to be mostly cloudy with widespread showers and thunderstorms, low by dawn 68. Clouds and a few showers and thunderstorms Wednesday, high 82. Thursday, maybe a leftover shower, otherwise time to clouds and sun, high 74. Sunny skies Friday with a high of 78. I'm meteorologist Jim Benally from WSIC's Weather Center.
The Ugly Antenna is bringing back old technology to help those without a streaming provider to watch up to 50 channels absolutely free. The Ugly Antenna is not the big, unsightly outdoor antenna of the past. It's
All righty, good folks. Boy, that was a good, fun break right there. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, all day Tuesday. It is Making It Happen Tuesday, and you're on the air. You can hear him live on the record with Brian Summers right here on Radio Road, WSIC 105.9 FM in all your channel areas right here. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. You can get us, folks, right here. This Tuesday, I got to say, got some lot of birthdays I wanted to just add. We're talking about news on the front side of the break before we went to break, but I do have a very famous, I should say she is, and she's very important too. She's a good cousin of mine, my cousin E. Jean McMurray. She's all the way up there in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's E. Jean McMurray. She is one of my Lackey cousins, and I love her dearly, and her family there, the whole McMurray crew, because they roll like a crew. Funny thing is, when she comes to town, she won't visit me, though, so I'm going to put it out there just like that, so I'll make sure she hears this. But if she comes to town, she doesn't visit Cousin Brian. I don't know about that. So, but I'm teasing, so I can kind of take that swing at her like that. Don't know when the other sister's going to get down here to North Carolina, Sheila and Laverne as well, so got to kind of holler at you all and say hello to you. But anyway, family up in Grand Rapids, happy birthday to you today. You get the start of the send off for all birthdays, cousin E. Jean, as we like to call you. And so happy birthday to you, and much love and respect. Also to another childhood friend grew up with, Miss Treva Caldwell. Treva Caldwell, I knew her from Mulberry Street and DeMatt Thompson, Statesville High School. Treva Caldwell's birthday today. I will not reveal her age as I want to have long life, so I won't put out any woman's age. I just won't do that. So hang with us, folks. And then Lisa Stutz Franklin, happy birthday to you too. Shout out to you out there. Lisa Stutz Franklin, happy birthday. We've got another person here, pretty much. Adrian Scott, happy birthday to you. Patricia Tooney, happy birthday to you. Veronica Conaway, happy birthday to you as well, too. Cindy Hunch Patton, happy birthday. I'm destroying that last name. Hunk Patton. Cindy Huck Patton is her birthday. Happy birthday to you, young lady. Forgive me for destroying your name. And then Maria Dos Santos. And so Maria Dos Santos, all the way up there in the frosty state of Massachusetts. Happy birthday to you. A lot of birthdays going on here. Miss Adrian Mack. Oh, I know. I remember Miss Adrian Mack. Adrian Mack. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday to you, Adrian Mack. Holding it down. She's a big Dallas Cowboys fan, and she's holding it down for the entire state of Maryland. And she's one of those very, shall I say, she's one of those federal government bureaucrats, and say she holds it down over there. I think she's with the IRS. I'm not right sure. Shh, but you didn't hear that from me. I know I can do that. I can say that to her. I retired before she did, but she's been there loyal to the federal government there in Washington, D.C. for a long time. Miss Adrian Mack, happy birthday to you, lady, all day long. And I still can't get past the fact that you actually like the Dallas Cowboys. But she's got family down here in North Carolina, so we shout you out and salute you as well, too. And some birthdays we might have missed on yesterday, just for the mere fact that I just had a show and had two guests on, and it just kind of got really past it. So please forget this. Sanika Drake, happy birthday to you from yesterday. Wayne Harwell, Coach Wayne Harwell from Statesville High School, happy birthday to you. It's a belated birthday. This was have been yesterday's birthday, or Sunday and Saturday as well, too. Aaron Serrano, happy birthday to you as well, too. And Shannon Aliz, I know her very well, and so she's off in the world traveling right now, so I think she's in Morocco. And very happy birthday to you. You deserve everything that's happening and going for you, and congrats on everything. Valerie Zachary, happy birthday to you, too. Had a birthday that we just want to make we got in. Nikki Vegas, happy birthday to you. And then there's a former Motown artist who was a singer, had his birthday. He passed away, but his birthday still popped up as a memory. Ivory Hunter, and he had some great Motown tunes that if I start singing, you'd know, but you wouldn't want me to sing it. Ann Britton, happy birthday to you, too, out there. Ann Britton, happy birthday. Chip Finkel, happy birthday. And Mayor Woody Washam down in, he's the mayor, I think of Cornelius or Huntersville. Forgive me on that one, Mayor. You got me, buddy. Didn't really tell me that, and so I'm not really sure, but happy birthday to him. Yep, he's the mayor of Cornelius. Yeah, so Mayor Woody, your birthday was yesterday. We didn't forget about you way up here in Statesville. You got some friends that like you and say happy birthday to you. Michelle Stewart Bennett, I knew her from high school, was in the band with her at Statesville High School. Michelle, we called her Shelly Stewart back then, had a birthday for her. So anyway, lots of birthdays, folks. I can't sing, but it's your birthday, and God knows that your folks out there love you, and they want to hear from you and all that good stuff. So, but right back into what we were talking about some of the news that was going on, and I mentioned about the shootings in Jacksonville, Florida, over the weekend. The also shooting that took place on the campus of UNC Chapel Hill here in my home state yesterday. And there's been some uptick in car thefts, particularly here in the city of Statesville. I think I saw a press conference last week where the police chief, Chief Oney of Statesville, was giving some statistics on just where things stood. That car theft was on the rise, and car burglaries. And so it is going into the month of September. We have to get Chief Oney back in here to kind of give us our monthly update with where things stand in the city of Statesville. I think that the Statesville Police Department, I think by now they're fully staffed. I think he said he was only down about 2 officers, but by end of summer he would have those positions filled. Those guys may have been in BLET just waiting to graduate. But we'll reach out to Chief Alney to make sure we have some good, accurate stats and just on what is the way forward for some of this and how do we combat car thefts going on. But, you know, they say that 90% of the people who cars get vandalized or get stolen happens with the fact they leave their cars running, or they leave the keys or leave things that people can see openly inside the car, and that makes a person who is of mischievous behavior want to try to get in to rob your car, crack your window, or and ladies, please do not do this. Do not leave your car running. Run back into the house to get something, whether you live in a house or apartment complex. Don't do those things because, you know, a person out there is looking for an opportunity will look for you and look for vulnerability in that area particularly. So just something to not do. When you're at the gas station pumping gas, if it's a well-lit gas station, you know, you're going to get out, lock your cars, take your keys with you, go inside, pay, come back to the pump, and pump your gas, unlock your doors, and get in. And don't leave your car door open from the front to get in the back to dig in your purse to find your credit card or wallet to go pay. Don't do that. It's way too much vulnerability for somebody of mischievous behavior to take advantage of. So just some tips that I know I say to my family always, and they say, well, you're scaring us. And I said, well, I'm hoping to scare you so you won't do, things that will make you a victim of somebody who's looking for an opportunity. So just to be safe on, and never do the receipt if you're out there pumping gas. If you pump gas at the pump and you get done and it says, do you want a receipt? Always say no, because if the receipt doesn't print out right away while you're there, you'll leave and the receipt will come out and somebody could have opportunity to some of your information. So just some little helpful tips to pass on. But it is still Tuesday. You can give me a call here on the line, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. And I don't know, you got some tips for the weekend. Anybody want to share their weekend? Or this is the third week of school right now back in the Iredell Statesville school system. And so far, I don't think we've had any incidents of school bus accidents or kids being left on the bus. It's a good thing as well, too. So we haven't had any of those things going on. I did briefly talk to Dr. James a little bit this morning. And so we're working out some things. And, Iredell Statesville schools, we're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. We're going to have a good time. And so I was very encouraged and had a good chat with him this morning because I tell you, he mentioned to me, and I know this, we're going to share, we've got to do everything we can. Folks, we've got a career center down at Katz in Troutman, as they call it, the Katz Center. And that's for career academy technical services. And I think they just do an awesome job with what's all down there. Automotive, plumbing, fire, EMS, all that training is down there. You can get cosmetology. So if you're a kid in the 11th to 12th grade, I don't know if it's 10th grade or not, but he'll come in and talk. You can, begin a career down there, learn some trades, carpentry, electricians, plumbing, all those things, vocations, all those things that I can say for me that I can't fix. I have to call someone and they bill me a lot of money to come in and put a $20 float on my toilet because it won't stop running. And I have no idea how to prevent it and stop it from flowing and it just keep running. So I had to call a plumber to come out and, went to some local hardware store and spent $20 and cost me $120. Well, so yeah, go figure that. Anyway, a lot going on, but anyway, Katz folks through the Iredell Statesville school system, it's a good thing. It is a good thing. And so if you got that kid who may not want to go to college or may not be ready for college right then and there, you can have them participate and get into a trade program. And they have BLET down there as well, too, for law enforcement. So it's all coordinated through Mitchell Community College. We have good partnerships here in our county and city, and I appreciate that. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you as we were talking through some things that were going on. But I was sharing some news. Some other news kind of is happening and going on, too, is that we found out today, too, that they had set some of the court dates for the whole Trump thing. And I'm really over it and to a degree past it. So they've set some March 4th dates in D.C. I think they've got some ones they pushed further back down, so which is supposed to be the day before Super Tuesday. So, who knows what's going on out there, folks. But that's what they say is the law of the land and what's going on and what we're going to be into. But I like to think that it'll all work out in the end. We'll just see what happens. But 2024 is going to come. Elections are going to come, one way or the other, how we look at it. But it's going to get here, and we've got to be ready, and should be ready, and we'll be ready. So anyway, get a call, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. Give me a call. Let me know what your thoughts are or what you think, or you got some news you might want to share. Love to hear from you here on The Record with Brian Summers. And we're going to get back on this side of this break. I'll tell you about some things that's going on in our community. Churches have some things coming up this weekend, but we will be talking to you. We'll keep it live right here on The Record with Brian Summers at News Talk 1400, 105.9 FM. All righty, here we go.
More On the Record with Brian Summers is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
This is Fred Lowry at Lowry Drug. We now have our own brand of full-spectrum hemp extract, also known as CBD oil. I personally manage this product as it was grown on my farm here in Iredell County. was then processed and bottled here in Statesville. This is a true herbal extract with all the medicinal components intact, a product you can trust to be authentic. And since there is no wholesaler, it's at a price you can afford. Try it at Lowry Drug on Hartness Road in Statesville.
I'm meteorologist Jim Benally with your WSI.
The new 1059 100.7 WSIC.
All righty, folks, here we are back. It is all live on the record with Brian Summers. It's this Tuesday, and we have had talked about some news things kind of happening and getting into some news that happened from around the country and the world, and a little bit of what's going on, and we just very interesting things taking place, I tell you, in our society and the world now every day, kind of what's happening. They had published out, and I ran across this as something I try to fill out the news feeds going on before we talk about certain topics we put up here on the air every day. And one of the ones was that they released a determination today about the fire that the explosion at the house of the NFL player whose father passed away in the explosion. The fire marshals and the state SBI have determined what caused the explosion of the home, killing the gentleman there. And so that was released. And it said that the cause of the catastrophic house explosion in Mooresville that killed NFL player's father has been announced by Iredell County Fire Services EMS. And so that's just very tragic as to all that all the way around. But investigators have determined the cause was a natural gas explosion with an unknown origin. And so that is if anybody saw any of the pictures or video from how that house was just leveled, we knew that, if you've ever seen a gas explosion before, there's nothing, because the gas is so clear and natural, you can't really see it. You can only smell it in the air. But that's what happened. They determined that it was a gas leak that caused the fire of the gentleman down there in Mooresville who lost his life. And so a tragic circumstance there that happened in Mooresville. And so we still think about things, those there are detectors that you can have, carbon monoxide, that can determine things, but I'm not quite sure where this, again, they didn't show they didn't really specify where the origins for the gas leak originated, or the source of it. But that is what the professionals, the investigators with Iredell County, along with the state and EMS, have determined that it was a gas leak that happened, and that the meter may have had some issues around that, and they tested the regulator on the gas meters. Well, it looks like they did to try to figure out the cause of what it was, but again, the origin unknown, but that's what they have determined. So just a tragedy, but still our hearts and thoughts still go out to that family there. Anytime life is lost, it's so very precious. And, you think about that in the realm of everything else that happened later in the week, as the 3 people shot down in Jacksonville, Florida, and then the shooting on the campus of UNC Chapel Hill right here in our own home state on campus yesterday, which I think would have given any parent out there a nightmare to call out. As I said, I have some cousins who are at UNC Chapel Hill studying, matriculating themselves, and I have a classmate who has a daughter there at UNC Chapel Hill as well, too. So, we just always, one of the things I purposely did with my daughter, Kimberly, when she got to college there in Columbia, she went to Columbia University in New York City, even though she wasn't particularly raised in the city, and we spent a lot of time in the city, going up and holiday trips up there and stuff. And I always tried to make sure that the number one thing to do was to always be aware. You're on a college campus, you're in a different spot other than where you normally are. Just be aware of your surroundings wherever you go. Those things are just said. And then there was a young lady who I met who became a great waitress for me over at Fresh Chef here in Statesville, which is out on 21. I don't mind giving that plug and say that. She was an excellent chef. She was an excellent waitress there. Her name was Chloe, and so Chloe's off, and she's up at Appalachian State, and so she was telling me about, she was leaving, and hey, Mr. Summers, I'm going to be leaving. I tell you, when these kids start calling you Mr. Summers and just say something about your age. But she was going off to college, and she had completed a couple years already undergrad. She did here at Mitchell, so she was actually transferring in at junior status. And I talked to her, and she said, she was going to be living off campus. And so we talked a little bit more. And then I said, well, how much do you know about your roommate? talking about the person she's going to be rooming with, her apartment mate, because they're going to stay off campus. And she says, oh, well, she's already been living there before. And I said, okay. And so she was looking forward to it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what you do. Here's a tip I'm going to give you from a dad, which is what I say to my daughter herself is, or if as your dad is what I tell you to do, call your local law enforcement agency there in that town and give them the address of where you're going to be staying. And then ask them to tell you any records report for any incidents happening there in the last 2 to 3 years. Have you had any calls to that address? And that, if the calls come back and they say, well, yeah, we responded to a call and they had this, and if it was the roommate, it kind of lets you know if you've had 3 calls out there and she's had 4 roommates, something's not up. It may want to look some further investigation. But that's just a dad and me, talking to her saying, hey, listen, you can do that. So if you're going to do this whole roommate, housemate move in, check the address out of where you're moving into. Maybe nice folks, maybe great folks your age. And I know young people want their independence. But just to help you to, when you're away and your parents aren't there and, you can't reach family right away, you're kind of sometimes stuck. And so we just want to make sure that you're getting, that you're safe. And I'm really, really one who's big up on safe. So, but I told her to just Google the address, call the local authorities, run the address by them so they could tell you if they've had any calls, incidents at that particular address in the last 2 to 3 years. That will give you a window if you've got a roommate who likes to party or a housemate that likes to party. If there have been an incident of people not getting along, all those things will come out if you check that out. So anyway, that's just a helpful tip out there. I think that's to anybody. But if you got young kids that are going to school, please do that for them in that way. All right. So the Iredell County Public Library is having its annual Friends of the Library. They're doing their annual meeting. And they're going to have Dr. Elliot Engel. He is an author. He's going to come in. He's talking about a book he has, which is The Tortured Genius Mind of Edgar Allan Poe, the famous poet. And so we're going to talk all things poet, all things Poe on that day of the 13th of September at the Iredell County Library from 2 to 4 o'clock. It's the Friends of the Library annual meeting. You can come in, get a ticket to it. Well, next week we'll be giving tickets here on the air. So you got to remember to tune in next week. If you want to go down to the library, go to this wonderful, excellent talk discussion on Edgar Allan Poe. I hear this gentleman is the official person for all Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm going to make sure that Dr. Rader and Miss Rader get a ticket for their daughter, Carrie, who said she was very much into poetry. And she was here on my guest about a month ago. She is the queen for Miss Queen City Teen, and that's Carrie Rader, she is. And so she said, I'm into poetry, Mrs. Summers, and I'm like, okay, not a problem. So I'm going to remember her. But at the Iredell County Public Library, folks, September 13th, it is Elliot Engel, Dr. Elliot Engel, and he'll be giving a discussion on the tortured genius mind of Edgar Allan Poe. And that'll be interesting. But if you also want to do other things within the library, encourage you to take your children, grandchildren, right upstairs there and get them a library card, get them all registered. You can never go wrong with books, folks. Books will take you around the world. Education itself, literacy is so very important. You should do that. Do it not only for the kids that you have charge of it, but for others too. If you get a chance, put a book in a kid's hand. A book will, I tell you, if you get into it and you delve and you get an appreciation for literacy, it will change your life as well as take you around the world. Books will do that. Books will help you explore, no matter what circumstance you're growing up in, the imagination of books and the thought of literacy and thinking and just developing analytical skills. You can get that through learning, I promise you, with books. And so, as I told you earlier, I had a little talk this morning early with the Iredell Statesville School Superintendent, Dr. Jeff James, and we talked very briefly this morning. And so I was very delighted to talk to him. And they'll be returning back here to WSIC. We got to line up to get them back into here and back on, because it's important to have good, accurate information and communication coming from what is happening in the school system, and that's outside of the board itself. So it's not always a policy thing. It could just be good information. Anyway, back on the other side of this break, this is Brian Summers for On the Record, WSIC, folks.
Keep it right here. On the Record with Brian Summers will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
here's your WSIC community calendar. Looking for a night of laughs? Mike Goodwin, who's been on America's Got Talent, is coming to Kane Center for the Arts here in Cornelius, Saturday, September 9th. Kane Center for the Arts' 2024 fall season. Comedian Mike Goodwin, Saturday, September 9th. For more info, visit kanearts.org.
See.
Oh, yes, folks, that old Motown feeling. Sounding good, feeling good. It's Tuesday, folks. I am your host here on The Record with Brian Summers, and we've been talking about a little bit of the goings-on in and around the country and a little bit happening here in North Carolina at home as well, too. And, again, we started off the hour with just talking about some of the tragedies that have taken place over the weekend, particularly down in Jacksonville, and yesterday out at UNC right here in North Carolina. Also, news that kind of happened to make it, although he didn't make it to the stage last Wednesday night. He has managed to get some news for himself because he has bowed out of running for president. But I'm not quite sure how that works. If you were never in the race, how do you kind of bow out? But anyway, the mayor of Miami, Florida, Francis Suarez, has announced that he will be dropping out of the race. But he didn't qualify to get on the stage last Wednesday night there in Wisconsin. So I'm a little perplexed by that. I don't know if his race, his campaign ever got off to a start or not. But he seemed to be the first casualty of the GOP in this campaign to get the nomination. And there are still a lot of room, a lot in the room who are running. It's a crowded field right now of those seeking to get the nomination for the Republican nomination for the presidency of the United States. And so, but we've had our first, I would say, casualty bowing out, and that is Mayor Suarez of Miami has bowed out as the he doesn't want to go any further and hadn't had it raised a lot of money. And so just the news of that's kind of happening with him. But that's some sort of sad news. I guess we ought to play some funeral music to a degree, but I won't do that. That's not nice, and I need to be nice and play nice. So anyway, still got some time here, folks. At the top of the hour, we are looking at about 12 more minutes, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. Give me a call here, WSIC News Talk 1400. 105.9. We're listening to you and want to hear from you as well. I had found a release where they said, where there are some more dangerous cities, particularly going on in the United States. And they said the 10 dangerous cities, but they didn't really list that much as far as North Carolina. So, but we'll kind of keep an eye out for that, and I'll see if I can be able to pull that story up and share with you tomorrow. But for tomorrow, I can tell you this much for tomorrow. I will have a special guest in the studio. It is Mr. Jay White. And you may know him if you ever know about white sales here in Statesville. He is of that lineage. He is also a realtor expert himself, and sort of dib and dab in some videography too. I don't know. He may not share it with you, but we're going to talk a little bit of literacy and poetry. We're going to talk about Ayn Rand, the famous book on analytical and philosophy thought of the day. So if you've ever been a person who has read that book, Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged's book, Ayn Rand, please do check it out. And so we're going to talk about that tomorrow, and of course other things, because when Jay's in the house, the last time we got together on radio, we caused a lot of trouble somewhere. But Jay White's going to be here, folks. Anybody in Statesville knows him. Great guy, great personality. But I'm looking forward to having him for the first time ever on any show I've hosted or been a host on. And so now I have my own show, and he'll be here tomorrow in the flesh, in the studio. And so we're going to have a little bit of fun. With Jay White will be here, and he'll be my guest tomorrow. And let's welcome him with a lot of enthusiasm and energy, and call in, as we're going to have a good day Wednesday. And then Thursday, I've got hoping to have a North Carolina State Trooper in here and kind of talk to us a little bit about some weekend safety things for a Labor Day weekend. It's very, very important. And I think that'll be the first time we've had a state highway trooper, patrolman here in our studio in a long time. So I felt it was appropriate to try to get in. I met one who was a first sergeant, and we had a good discussion and broke bread about last week while I was having breakfast, and it was a good chat. So he arranged for me to have a state trooper here in studio, and that's going to be on Thursday. And so we'll hope to make that happen. But just letting you know, but Jay White, Mr. Jay White, will be my guest here tomorrow, live on the air in studio. He is Jay's a good guy. He's a lot of fun, and you'll realize when you see him on camera and you hear him behind the mic, lots of energy. And so we got another buddy, Jim Dooley, who's Jim Dooley won a book here a month ago, folks. The book is still here, and I'm going to call him out on that, but that's okay. So anyway, but he's a regular here, and we like him. So when Jim gets down to North Carolina, we want to have him here in the studio as well, too. And then that one guy who's kind of been avoiding me for a while, I don't know where he went to, Carl Mitchell. He sort of has, went off the radar a little bit. So Carl Mitchell up there, he's between Ohio and Union Grove. So that's where Carl Mitchell is. And so, but anyway, those are guys that kind of regular. Those are guys that are friends of mine. My friend Steve up in Love Valley, and James, and then a couple other folks, Hope. So, but anyway, the regulars are around. And so I enjoyed them because they help to make the show great, and they keep us all informed. They share good information, good content. If you're looking for a great church, I am going to be here this weekend. So the fair is going on, starting ribbon cutting Friday, 5 o'clock. Then I'll be attending church here somewhere on Sunday morning. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to be at South River, or I'm going to be up at Hebron, I've got invited out to Buffalo Shoals Baptist Church as well too. So I may make my way over to St. John's Baptist Church up in Poplar Branch. But anyway, the Wave is always welcoming to me. The Wave up off Highway 90. It's a good church as well too, and Command Baptist as well. So lots of churches, folks. Find somewhere to go, sit down. If you find that you get peace there with the good Lord, make it a thing to do, because there's so much going on in this world. It's always good when somebody wants to invite you to the house of the Lord, and that really matters, and it is important for me, because these days are getting long and they get tough. But I tell you, prayer will always keep you grounded. Prayer will sustain you, and prayer will get you through. It is the faith for sure that'll make that happen. So don't mean to sound like I'm a preachy person, but I just got to tell you what I believe in. And if you knew my story about how I got over, you would you would testify and tell somebody as well too. So that's always a good thing. But yeah, if you get a chance, it is tomorrow is also Wednesday. So you know what that means? That's WSIC night at Randy's Barbecue. Wednesday is WSIC night at Randy's Barbecue. It is dinner. It is the barbecue chicken, folks. Barbecue. I was in there earlier, saw Randy, slapped 5 with him, had myself a sandwich, and it was all good. And so Wendy down there, and Candace down there, and Olivia, and Colin, and Summer, and boy, there's just a ton of them down there, all smiling faces there at Randy's Barbecue, the corner of Front Street and Old Salisbury Road. You can't miss it. You can smell and see the pig out there roasting, and steam is coming up off of it. It's all right there. They got a parking lot that's been repaved over, and you got plenty of spaces. Randy's Barbecue for Wednesday night, after church, after Bible study, before church, before Bible study. Go in there, sit down, take your family, have dinner, folks. And when you get full off the barbecue chicken, get one of Randy's world famous banana pudding, folks. I can tell you, you're going to love it. Yeah, boy, you know, I don't want you to go home, because we want you to go to Bible school. We want you to make that, or if we want you to go after Bible school, but we want you to be able to make it. But anyway, just know that the wife doesn't have to cook, the husband doesn't have to cook. There'll be no cooking. The cooking's on Randy's Barbecue now. So Wednesday night's WSIC night over there, and we like to go over there and greet customers and be on the door and smile and open the door for folks, and make sure that they are taken care of and they're well and that they are happy. And Randy always enjoys that, him and Miss Robin, as I have a smiling face and a great personality. But you know, when you find yourself in good company like that, where everything is very much a healthy family environment, is a good spot. And Randy's Barbecue is that, folks. Since I met Randy several years ago, has just been that way, and he has been a gem to this community. He's hired folks, and he's kept folks employed and brought some economy into our city, and he's my friend, and so I think very highly. But after you have eaten all that barbecue tomorrow night, and you wake up Thursday morning, you need to go work out, you need to kind of stretch a little bit, you got the Statesville Family YMCA. Ooh, boy, they got some programs over there. I found out last night they've even got line dancing over there. And I said, whoo, line dancing at the Statesville Family YMCA? Yes, they've got line dancing on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday mornings. You can get line dancing lessons at the Statesville Family YMCA, folks. And so just a lot going on in our city, a lot going on in our community, and it helps to make the world a better place when you have that much. But I tell you, I'm not going to put out the name of the person who told me about line dancing, but I told her, I said, well, I may need somebody to come twirl and dance. She, oh, yeah, you're fine. You can come on. And but anyway, line dancing at the Statesville Family YMCA, folks, is good stuff. So check it out. If you get a chance, get a membership. You talk to them about WSIC, you get 3 months, and we'll see what we can make happen for you. But you are welcome there at Statesville Family YMCA, the corner of Wesley and Hartness Road. Randy's Barbecue. See you tomorrow night, folks. I promise you, you're going to love Randy's Barbecue. That barbecue chicken Wednesday night special is the bomb. It's really good. I don't know if I can say bomb on there. Anyway, it's really good food. Randy's Barbecue tomorrow night. WSIC night, folks. And then the fair coming up on Friday. So we got a lot going on here at our station in our city. And we love you. We like you. And hope you keep listening. You have to click on, because we got some tickets to give away tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to start giving away tickets to the Iredell County Fair. Next week, we got a great announcement, too. We're going to be doing something with Chick-fil-A. So we'll be feeding a family of 4 as of next week. Next Friday, a family of 4 will get some kind of good treat right here on WSIC. Every week we'll give away a nice certificate for a family of 4. WSIC, this is On the Record. Brian Summers, God bless you.
The new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.